How you doing? My name is Erick Otchere, and I'm talking about the resource-based Susu. So just to get you up to speed, if you don't know what a Susu is basically two or more people loaning each other, or one individual being loaned a certain amount over a period of time until each individual in the group has either borrowed or actually both borrowed and loaned out the amount to everybody in the group. That essentially is a susu, and that concept can be done in many different ways and come in many different forms. The form I'm going to be speaking about is resource based. Normally, the concept is understood from a standpoint of dollars or currency. Um, Actually, the history behind a susu is based on labor and resources. So you could actually look at it from an aspect of people coming together with goods and services that they loan and borrow from each other over a period of time, and they do this in a cyclical type of cycle. And this is how a susu can maintain a community or maintain a society, or however you want to look at that. So let's start with how to all right, how to run a resource-based susu. Again, my writing is not legible, but that's okay because we are going to discuss what I'm writing. All right, so what you need first from this standpoint is producers. So you have to have the producers of the resource that are going to come together for this particular type of susu. And when we're talking resources, we're talking about a whole lot of things. We can get into some, I guess, examples in a little bit. But let's talk about the two things you're gonna need in a resource-based susu. First, you're gonna need calendar. You're gonna need calendar. The calendar, that is the most fundamental aspect of a susu, is the schedule, and the schedule is usually by a calendar-based schedule. So you're gonna need to know the the order at which this susu is going to work, and the order is substantiated by the calendar. You're also going to need resources. Whatever. Bad handwriting. So you got your calendar and you got your resources, but first and foremost, you're going to need the producers of the resources that are going to be operating under this calendar. I want to say first that this is a project-based endeavor on a basic practical sense. This is a project-based idea. If you're gonna be just transferring resources from one another on a calendar basis, there has to be a project. There has to be a reason, a projection of why you're doing it. If you're just doing it to maintain a community, okay, that's your project. If you're doing it just to make sure that everybody's fed, okay, that's your project. But this is project based. You're not just doing this for no reason. That's why you have the resources. There is a reason why you are scheduling resources to be divided and borrowed and loaned over a period of time. So I just want to stress this is project based. The Ideally, on a calendar basis, you want to do this either weekly or monthly. And I would say monthly is probably the more practical time frame or schedule that you want to use. Weekly, I mean, you got to be able to gather your resources every week, and that may not be suitable for everybody in this particular endeavor, because gathering resources on a weekly basis takes time and it takes labor. And oh yeah, let me get into some of the resources. Like I said, there are definitely practical examples of resources, but in a contemporary standpoint, how we use resources today from a more advanced. We're not talking about, you know, anything, pre-civilization or prehistoric. We're talking, this is the 21st century. So some of the main resources that we use is one is labor, and we talked about labor before, but it's still a resource. That is a very important resource. It's the human resource. Then technology. Some people have access to more technology than others. That's just a fact. And some people have less technology. And some people have more labor, some people have more technology. These are resources that can be leveraged within a Susu. And of course, you got education. This is an abstract resource, however, this is a very important resource. Some people just have more information. Just because you have the technology doesn't necessarily mean you have the information. Just because you have the technology doesn't mean you know where to find the information. So some people have more education. These are just some of the resources that we're gonna use in this project-based concept. All right, so here are some examples of how to use resources for a project-based Susu. Supermarket. That's one. This might be going a little too low, but I think you can see that. You can see that. School. Clinic or hospital. And civic center, or just a place that everybody meets. These are basic fundamental community assets. And a resource-based Susu that is a project-based concept using some of the more practical resources, labor, technology, and education, can, on a monthly basis ideally, procure a group of people with the know-how and the uniform mindset to build a supermarket, build a school, build a clinic or hospital, and build a civic center. Now, I'm just giving you just a rough idea of what this can construct. Based on what we've already discussed with the Susu concept, you kind of should be able to gather how this can create that. And when I say resource-based, project-based, I'm saying strictly looking at it from a standpoint of what you already have at your disposal, not looking at it from a monetary aspect. So, just to give you a brief understanding, let's go from the top. You need producers. You need people who can produce the labor, produce the technology, produce the education. You're gonna need those people with the resources. You're gonna have to set up a time schedule of how you're gonna get to these end goals. It has to be project based, and the projects can be very, very, very simple projects with complex ways of getting there. Supermarkets, not easy to build a supermarket. It's not easy to build a school. It's not easy to build a hospital. It's not easy to build a civic center. However, you can break it down into practical means with groups of people with a Susu resource-based, project-based idea. So I guess, if you guys want to talk more about that, reach out to me in the comments. As always, there's more to come, and please subscribe. So that's all I got, and we'll be seeing each other soon.